Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the front porch of the Milky Way. We're having perspective on the front porch of the Milky Way. Good morning, Diane Leader. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning, Meisha. I'm really happy to be here. Looking forward to a
Good.
great conversation.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. Today, we are going to be talking about just imagining that we're imagining everything anyway. What do you think about that? That we're imagining everything anyway.
Well, we need to get into this more because that's just the tip of the iceberg.
It is. So I'm going to read a little ditty to you, and then we're going to talk about it, okay?
All right.
All right. So just imagine you're in a room. Maybe it's a work meeting, a friend's living room, a kitchen table, a Zoom call, a church group, a book club, a late night phone call. Just imagine someone speaks up and they're the expert. They've done the research, the information is real, and it matters. You can feel the shift in the room. People lean in, pens come out, the hum changes. That's appropriate. It's a now moment. Information's meant to be received. Guidance is meant for response. Each person, through their own stream of consciousness, takes the action that feels right to them. Some make calls, some move money, some adjust plans, some just clock it as awareness. That part's clean, that part's healthy, that part is conscious energy in motion. But then something subtle happens. The information is landed, the actions have all been considered, and the room doesn't settle. Instead, a different hum starts. What if? But what about? Did you hear? This could mean the energy just shifted from presence to projection, from awareness to rehearsal. The room starts living in futures that haven't even happened. Nothing new's being added, but everything's getting heavier. Then someone pauses, not loudly, not dramatically. They simply say, just imagine. Not to deny reality, not to avoid action, but to close the loop. Yes, the information matters. Yes, response in the now moment is appropriate. But once that response has happened, continuing to live inside collapse doesn't prevent it. It rehearses it. Most people have been trained to think in either or, to brace, to narrow bandwidth. But response is this and. Response is perspective. Response is expansive. Here's the clean mechanics. Whatever keeps your attention stays active. Not because you believe in it, not because you want it, but because attention is instructive. Energy flows where focus goes. When something is noticed and responded to, the system does what it's meant to do. Information comes in, energy adjusts, action happens. What creates problems isn't awareness, it's continued focus after response. Energy doesn't hear, I'm just being careful. It hears, keep this active. It doesn't distinguish between worrying and fixing, rehearsing, or I can't say this word, catastrophizing, making up catastrophes, okay? It just registers where attention stays. Fluency is knowing when to stop feeding something, energetically, emotionally, conversationally. It's the moment when you feel the room tip from, okay, we know what's going on, into, now we're living inside it. That's when someone gently redirects imagination. Because imagination's already running, you might as well steer it where it's livable. This is the difference between responsibility and respondability. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about there. Responsibility reacts inside a wave. Respondability chooses the wave. I'm hearing what is it that the surfers yell? I'm hearing that. Respondability acts. This information is real. This frequency doesn't fit me. I choose a different state. You may still take action. You may still adjust plans, but now your action comes from a state already set, not from rehearsing collapse. That's a different signal. We don't reset circumstances, we reset ourselves. Then circumstances reorganize to match. That's effectiveness. Some people feel relief immediately. Some feel resistance. Some disengage. That's okay. because this isn't persuasion, it's leadership through coherence. Information received, response taken, focus released, and the quiet truth, when you set your state, the field reorganizes. Not by force, not by hope, but mechanics. Others may step into the field later or not. Not your job. Or as I say, not your circus, not your monkeys. Your job is not to carry fear forward. Your job is to be the refocus. No denial, no bypassing, just noted, responded, released. And then I choose how I want to feel now. I choose the hum I live inside. I choose the field I contribute to. Because you are that you are. Now, now, now. And yes, if Stuart Smalley were here, he'd probably say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, this pivot works. And he'd be right. There's no authority here but you. No gurus, no systems, just mechanics. How energy responds, and fluency, how you move with it. Once you know that, the rest is your story. Conscious energy projecting reality, frame by frame, each now moment, whole and complete. So just imagine, we're just imagining anyway, and learning how to focus that imagining, that's what changes everything.
Wow.
Wow,
I said
indeed.
wow last time I was on here with you.
I know you did.
Well, I could say holy something else, but maybe that's appropriate.
That's okay. That's okay. It wouldn't be the first time, though, would it? Wow.
That's the truth. That's the truth. That's true.
But you know, Diana, this is what we do. It's a matter of fact, it's what I do. It's what we all do. I don't do it like with things many people do. Many people, it's the news, it's what's going on in the world. I'm good at letting that go. But in my own life, I'm this ultra responsible person and I get into fix mode. And we don't fix circumstances. We decide, how do I want to feel? I've been there, done that, bought that t-shirt. How do I want to feel? We pivot. We reset our frequency and we allow the field to reset around us. But we have to hold that frequency for not because everything doesn't reset the minute we reset our frequency. It does. But the new parallel that we land in when we do that, well, there are other energies to reform and the story to be written, because that's what we're here to do anyway. I mean, where are we rushing off to? We're here to write the story, right? We're here to live the story. So when we reset each now moment, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't feel good. I want to feel, I want to feel, I want to feel. When we reset how we want to feel, instantly, the field has to match us. That's what we're here to do. But then everything else in the field has to sync up with us and sequence with us for that to happen. And we have to hold that new place that we came to. And what happens is, and we all do this, where we look back at, okay, I reset myself, but that's not fixed. It's not our job to fix that. If we fix it, we're fixing it in the same energy we felt the problem in. And the fix is not, we're going to loop right back through it again. We don't know the how. The how is a different part of us. The part of us that knows how we want to feel is the expression part, the tactile part. And so that part of us, the part that gets to call the plays on how we want to feel, the best part, I mean, think about it. When you're dancing, do you want to lead or do you want to follow? You want to lead, of course. We're the lead. We get to say how we want to feel, right? But we don't say the how, because we're going to keep looping through the same things. We're going to keep looping through the same things. So we release that part, and but we have to be willing, we have to be fluid enough. And in my little article, it mentioned fluency, but it didn't mention fluidity. We have to be fluid enough and expansive enough. It did mention expansiveness. That's what expansiveness is. Expansiveness means, okay, I would normally do it this way, this way, this way. Those ways don't work, or I wouldn't be here right now, because I've done them how many times? over and over and over, or some variation of them. Expansiveness means, okay, I know how I want to feel. I know I don't want to feel any of that again. So I'm resetting the field to feel this way. And I can't wait to see how the rest of me and everyone else that's in the field with me is going to make that happen. And then being expansive to allowing it to unfold in a new way. And it's going to seem magical to us when we let that happen because it's going to be something we haven't imagined yet.
Wow. So I want to just grab that word allow because I think that's the piece that gets us tripped up.
It is.
We don't think that we can do this. We don't think that we can shift things. We feel as though we have to either, have an ongoing conversation about the negative, or just sit in it, or blame ourselves, or whatever. That's kind of the sense is that that's our lot in life, that that's what we have to do. So that's a really big piece. I think that allowing ourselves to step out of that and recognize that that's not, first of all, how energy works well, how we can work our own energy for our own good, but it's also what it makes us feel good. It makes us feel better. We're not sitting in that muck anymore. We're not, forever blaming so and so and, oh, look, that happened again. And yeah, for sure, my groceries didn't arrive on time, or, whatever it is. It's a real, it's a flip. It's a flip of that. So I think allowing is a big piece that we have to look at. And once we do, I often think about test runs, so
Mm-hmm.
try it. Try it. What if you're sitting in muck right now and you allowed yourself to move from here to here?
Right.
Why don't you just start there? Because
Right.
then you're going to be looking for more because it feels pretty good.
It
Because
feels good.
that's the porch. I think
That's the porch. That's the porch. Well, perfect example is this morning. I talk this all the time. I talk it all the time. I'm very good at ignoring the big things in the world. I'm very good at allowing um, the world to take care of itself. Okay, I want to feel this way in the world. I want the world to feel this way, and for me, it does. It does. Things resolve themselves. The big things in the world resolve themselves, but the little things in my everyday life, you ask me about, and immediately I hit. I've got this to take care of, and this to take care of, and this to take care of, and I'm not looking forward to them. But when you asked me, so what do you need to do about them? I stopped and I said, I have to handle those the same way I handle the big things in the world. And I have to reset the energy and allow those to reset to. I have to reset my frequency and I have to hold that frequency and allow those fields to reset around me, just like I allow the world to reset around me. And I can't be uber responsible and look around me and say, oh, that didn't change yet. That didn't change yet. Because energy changes instantly when we reset ourselves. Every now moment does. But I've used this before. I'm going to use it again. Let's say this heart is life, okay? And then we reset. We don't like how something feels. We want to feel confident. We want to feel that things are flowing with grace and ease. We want to feel that we don't have to come up with the next 4 months of where we're going to be and how we're going to get there, et cetera, et cetera. And it's going to be easy to do. And so in this hand is all of that. Okay. Now, to some, it's the same heart going from this hand to this hand, but it's not. It's an entire different quantum equation. It's not just a quantum equation of the heart. It's everything that supports that heart. It's the air around it. It's the planet around it. It's the people around it. It's everything. It's the abundance it needs. It's everything this heart needs to be what I just said that it was. Me. Okay? So, in space-time that we have, that is slow enough to support the unfolding of story, okay, it looks like it's moving from here to here and we can see it moving. But that's just the sequencing that we can see. It's like a film strip, okay? So if we could cut the film strip and just see from this frame to this frame, that's like teleportation, okay? That's like instantaneously happening. That's all that happens whenever we change frequencies. We change them every now moment. From this now moment to this now moment is a whole complete new quantum equation. Everything is whole and complete when we say, I want to feel this way, I want to feel this way. When we pivot, when we understand that we don't have to have the polarity of from hot to cold. But hold on a second. I understand that. I can go from, I can have my water just right. You know, we can pivot that way. Then everything in our now moment supports that. Everything does. But we just landed in a parallel, in a frequency, in a bandwidth where everything around us has to come to support that. Everything has to sync up and sequence and roll that beautiful bean footage for the story to unfold to match that. That's what we're there for, is for the story to unfold. So that takes time. That takes time and space. So then we have to understand that we're holding that frequency and adjusting it. Hold on, that didn't feel exactly the way I thought. Let me reset again. Let me reset again. Let me reset again. And in every now moment, it is shifting with us. Keep holding that, and the field will keep reorganizing to support you. But there are other people in that field. There are other things going on in that field. You're not the only heart in that field. This heart's in that field. This pyramid's in that field. This is in that field. They're all doing the same thing. So they have to reorganize too. So you're waiting for all of those things to organize and for everything to sync up. That's the lag that we feel. So it's not that it's not happening. It is happening. It happened for you totally. You're allowing those things to happen. Now, the more complex something is, when we're talking about a whole collective of people, that takes a little longer. But the more momentum you put into it, the more excited you are about it, the faster it happens. The more you focus on good things, the more you focus on just knowing and trusting that it will, the more it will. The more you drag old story into it, the more you keep falling out of that new frequency and going back to trying to, well, I better fix this heart and I better fix this. It's not going to happen because you've fallen back into the old frequency. And you can't have a new frequency and an old frequency at the same time. You can't be in both. So I can't fix the old frequency and hold the new at the same time. I have to hold the new, be happy in the new, do things in the new that match the new. If the new is that it's going to be with grace and ease, I have to believe it's going to be with grace and ease. So when something shows up in the new frequency, in the new expansiveness of stuff that seems a little off to me, I have to know it's there because it matches that new frequency. And, oh, this is interesting. Wonder how that helps me. It must help me. It's here. Now, if it really feels off to me, if it really feels like friction to me, then that's telling me I need to zig a little. I need to reset. But if it's just different, then that's telling me, oh, that's my new thing. How does that help me? How do I get curious about that? That's my expansion. That's the new way. And that's what we're not used to. That's reimagining things. Instead of doing them the old way and having the old outcomes, which aren't working for us, or we wouldn't have wanted to reset to begin with, this is the new way, and there's the new way, and there's the new way. Get excited about the new. Be open to the new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so you've touched on so much of this already, but I'm really curious, and I think this might be something that our listeners are going to want to know. What are those steps? Like if somebody is sitting in that muck and they want to shift their energy, what do they do? Like in a very practical way. Let's talk about that. Maybe it's 2 steps, maybe it's 4, I don't know. But yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, well, the breath is what moves energy. All right. This is not hard. We are energy to begin with. The breath is what moves energy. Just stop, take like three really cleansing breaths, hold that breath. When we hold the breath, the body is a resonance chamber. We have over densified what the body is. The body is meant to be a resonance chamber. So when they have you at yoga, when they have you in meditation or whatever, and they tell you to hold the breath, and you feel like, maybe you feel it, maybe you don't, it's okay if you don't, but you'll feel like the body clearing, the head clears, the body clears. That's because you're a resonance chamber. You're meant to feel that way. So when you just breathe, you feel everything clearing out, and then you exhale. You're raising your frequency up. When you breathe in, you're raising your frequency up. The increased oxygenation speeds up the molecules. Okay. Excitement about things speed up the molecules. Focusing on how you want to feel and letting go of how you have felt speeds up the molecules. The excitement is letting the light out that's within us. So just allow your molecules to speed up, let the light that's within you out. Just feel white light all around you. And we're going to keep this really simple. And just allow yourself to be in that light. And just breathing deeply and exhaling. Breathing deeply and exhaling. And just use the breath to reset anytime you need to. And then, rather than focusing on what you need to fix, focus on how you want to feel. And while you're in this hyperoxygenated state, you understand that if you could have fixed the problem, you would have fixed it. The very definition of insanity, I believe, according to Einstein, was that is trying to fix a problem in the same energy that you created it in. You can't. You're just going to loop the same problem. So instead, focus on how you want to feel. You want to feel confident. You want to feel clear. You want to feel easy. You want to feel light. You want to feel, well, whatever it is you want to feel. You want to feel debt free. You want to feel abundant. You want to feel healthy. You want to feel happy. You want to feel that things go your way. You want to feel that everything is supporting you. You want to feel fully supported. All the things you want to feel. Then start building templates of what that looks like. Not the how, but just not exact outcomes, but templates of it. Like that day I was at the beach, or I can see people coming up to me and saying things like, or I can see myself doing things like, or I can see myself wearing things like, or being like, and start building these templates. And just imagine yourself, imagine life, imagine the world, imagine booking RV plans for the next 4 months. And it goes this way. Imagine people who are supposed to be coordinating with you, coordinating and keeping their word and doing what they say they will. Just imagine all these things working out a certain way. And you don't know how it's going to happen. And you realize that maybe this isn't exactly even what the outcome's going to be, but it's something like this. It's something that feels this way. And then you've said it. It's like the rice pot now. Forget it. Let it go. Just let it go, because you don't know the how. You are part of a multidimensional light being, and you're the tactile part. You're the part that's slowed down into tactility, that gets to do the expressing and the feeling. The rest of you is the part that now comes in and oscillates as hues of light being, human beings, hues of light being. That's going to come through, match your frequency, and keep changing all of this every now moment, supporting you, supporting you, supporting you. It's going to go from here to here to here to here every now moment, changing all of this as the frequency you've just landed in a whole new parallel, a whole new parallel. Know that it's going to happen. And as, oh, that went easy. That went easy. That went easy. Trust that everything's going to be easy. Trust that it's going to go the way you want it to. Oh, that didn't go exactly the way I thought. Now, was that expansion, or was it that you need to reset again? Maybe you fell back into, I've got to fix this mode. I've got to make this work. I've got to make this happen. Those people don't like me. Maybe you fell back into that mode. And so you have to clear your energy again. You can do this anytime, as many times a day as you need to. I heard somebody say one time, now that's great, just don't get addicted to doing it. And I said, are you kidding me? One,
Yeah, why
it's
not?
one, it's breathing, and two, it's moving your energy. It is resetting your frequency. If there's anything that we need to be addicted to, it's this, because this is what energy work really is. This is what we're here to do. This is learning to be what we are. That's what this is. This isn't something we're addicted to. This is us being who and what we are. That's all this is. Let me put my phone on silent. Sorry about that. This is us being who and what we are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. And so, and then just keep going with it, and keep trusting it, and knowing that you can't mess it up. Just like my little 10-minute rant with you this morning. Sometimes we need to say it and hear ourselves, and just hear ourselves and say, wow, okay, I got all that off my chest. I heard it all. Now I need to reset all of that. I've said it. Now I need to reset it, because that now I know how I really feel. I know why I feel all of that. But we don't need to pick up the phone and say it to every friend we have. We don't need to say it 20 times a day. We don't, sometimes we have to get out what it is that's frustrating us. Sometimes we need to look the elephant in the room in the eye and deal with it. But then once we've done that, once we've identified it, okay, you've identified it now.
Yeah,
Now
that's it.
reset it. That's it. You don't, and you don't need to keep telling the story. If you then go tell the story, guess what I did today? I realized this about myself, and I reset it. Well, you just drug yourself through the energy again. You don't have to do that. You can say, I just reset, that I had a fix it moment this morning, and I reset that and go on. You can do that, because that's saying something that you did that is great. But if you just
Yeah.
go through what the whole problem was, you just drug yourself through that frequency again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because energy doesn't hear that you're telling a story. Energy hears, oh, she likes this story. Let's stay with that story. That's what our energy feels. So the thing is don't keep going through the old stories. Go to the exciting part. The exciting part is, I'm not going to, the exciting part is not what you're not going to do. The exciting part is where you're at and how you've reset, what your reset is. Focus on the reset. Tell everybody what your reset is.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you want to talk about. When we
Yeah.
when we talk to people, and you and I've talked about this before, we should say to them, so what is your reset? Not what have you been doing, but what's your reset? What where are you at? What are you wanting? How are you wanting to feel? How are you today? What is your I am today?
Yeah. So that means we're going to have to start doing that. You know that, right?
Right. Right. But the reason you didn't this morning is because, one, we needed to know what we were going to talk about, which we did know. But two, I needed to say all of that so I could hear for myself how, even though I say this and do this all the time, that was still, I'm still in fix it mode where those things are concerned. Where those things are
Yeah.
concerned, I was still in, okay, but I have to fix these. I have to fix these. And I know better. I know better than to be in fix it mode where anything is concerned. But in my mind, those were still things that I had to fix. And I live and breathe this. You know that. But in my mind, those are two things that I still had to fix all the time, were those two things. And I can't fix those. If they were fixable, they would be fixed. All I can
Yeah.
do is reset my frequency about them, and the field has to rearrange around them. It has to.
Yeah. Yeah. All really good points. And I think recognizing where we are at any given time. I mean, that's number one. This doesn't feel right. I need to reset and go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a big part of that because we get stuck in that muck, and as we did this morning. But
Yes.
having that expression, being able to simply express, this is not working for me, and then seeing, it's like flipping the page or whatever, flipping the script as you sometimes call it, whatever it is, I think is really important. And I also think and thank you. So thank you for that process, for talking about that process, because I think that's going to be not only super helpful to people that are either new to energy or they just don't know what to do when they get that emotional hit, So I think it's really valuable, and I want to know too, because I know this will be on YouTube. So please comment if that was helpful, and if you want, when we get into other conversations like this, if you want more direction like that. I think that would be that'd be really good feedback.
Well, and our story today started off with somebody who had answers, who well, one had a problem, knew about a problem, told everyone about the problem, and everybody started thinking about, well, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And then the room started catastrophic, what's the word? How do you say the word? Catastrophic.
Catastrophe, catastrophic.
Yeah, yeah. Catastrophizing, catastrophizing.
Is that a word? Is that really a
It is.
word?
It is a word.
Catastrophizing.
That's it. That's it. Catastrophizing. Yeah. Okay. That word. That word. That word. Yeah.
Well,
Catastrophic.
because we do.
We
We
do that.
do that. We all do
Yeah.
that. When we hear something like, and then it's like, okay, what does that mean for me? It
Well,
doesn't have to
first of
mean
all,
crap for
first of
it.
right. First of all, when we have a now moment and somebody has brought us information, there's nothing wrong with in a now moment responding to a now moment with action. That is a healthy thing to do. Okay, it's raining outside, go roll your windows up, okay? Or push the button. You can show my age, or roll your windows up, push the button. And that was a low emotional value thing I just mentioned, but there are big things going on in the world that people may tell us about that we're like, oh, I need to do this, or I want to do this, or I
Yeah.
think I will do this. There's nothing wrong with taking a, a response to something, to information that we get in real time. That is, I'm in the now moment. I've got information. I take the now actionable response. But then once you've taken that response, that matched that energy at that moment, then you decide, okay, but is this even the world I want to be in? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, I've dealt with the now, but is this even the energy I want to feel? Is this how I want life to be? Is this the parallel I even want to be a part of? We need to understand we are conscious energy projecting out our reality. Do we have a collective agreement about reality? We do, but we don't have to keep agreeing to those collective agreements, and we can agree to new collective agreements. And every new now moment, we're forming new collective agreements all the time. These new collective agreements are at different levels all the time. This is how we change everything without going through the difficulties of collapse. People talk about collapsing timelines. We collapse timelines when we figure things out, and we change structures through figuring things out, and we dismantle old structures and create new ones. And that is the hardest way you can do it. And we're not really expanding anything and creating new. We're creating variations on what we already have. They may be new variations, but they're still variations on what we already have. But to reimagine, that's the phase that we're in energetically, is to understand, hold on a second, conscious energy is being projected out. And that's how we imagined all this anyway. But we're locked into the loops of fixing what we imagined when we don't have to do that. We're to the point of being awakened to, aware of what we are, resetting the pivot point. And okay, so I went and rolled the windows up because it was raining. I did that part, but I don't like feeling like I'm in a world where the weather is always erratic. I want to live in a world that is temperate. So I want to feel temperate. I want to feel calm. I want to be in a place where the weather isn't erratic, where I'm not erratic, where tempers aren't erratic. I want to live in a world that is not chaotic. I want to feel calm. I want to feel. And then I am. That's where we have to get to, is an I am statement. I am. I am feeling. I am. And start saying our I am statements. And as we do that, we start building parallels that create fields of potentiality for new collectives to form in. And then we start writing stories in these new collectives. And we don't collapse timelines then. Old timelines start resolving. Erratic weather patterns start resolving themselves. And we start having a more temperate climate, temperate in every way. Tempers go down. Weather patterns even out. Economic weather patterns even out. Jobs even out. Everything even out, because we understand that we don't want to live in a chaotic world, whatever that means to you. So it's just imagine the world you want to live in. We've already imagined this one, and we keep trying to fix it. It's here because we imagined it to begin with. So imagine the one you really want. Stop trying to fix this one. We didn't create it that way. We created it by just imagine, and then we forgot that that's what we were doing. So it's time to understand that that's how conscious energy is working anyway. Only we're in loops, just reimagining the same things with slight variations. Stop reimagining with just slight variations and start imagining exactly what you want. Yeah. And understand that you're not going to get exactly what you want, because we only have the capacity to know what we already have. Start imagining it the way you want to feel, because that's what we are. We're the tactile, we're the feelers. And then allow the how to come from the parts of us that is higher in consciousness, higher in awareness. And when we do that, then expansion happens, and we have better and better and better. And when I say we're resetting the pivot point, you don't have to even know what that means. You don't have to say, well, I want lukewarm water instead of too hot or too cold. Just say, I don't want to go from bad to worse, or worse to good. I want to go from good to gooder. I want to go from good to gooder every day. Whatever good is, I want to go gooder every day, every now moment. And energy has to honor
The
that.
gooder moment. Can we call that the gooder moment?
The gooder moment.
Let's do it. Let's have a gooder moment.
It's the Goldilocks zone is what I'm calling it. It has to be just right. Not too hard, not too soft, but just right for you, where it feels good to your system, where you're not taking yourself too fast, but you're not staying where you are, where we're not overshooting fourth density and ending up where we're not tactile anymore, but where we're not so stuck that we're not fluid and we're not expansive, but we're in expansiveness, because that's what we're supposed to be doing right now. And supposed to, because that's what a stable matrix is. We've talked about the matrix not being, we've talked about coming out of the matrix. We have an inverted, unstable matrix. We have a matrix that is, we keep draining all the energy out of ourselves, doing the same things over and over, instead of allowing ourselves to feel what we want to feel and creating expansively.
Yeah. So, of course, being the practical girl that I am, um,
Mm-hmm.
what was going through my mind as you were talking was about, okay, so we're setting ourselves up for, like, in a positive way. So, we're choosing to feel how we want to feel, which is awesome. And I know just the practice that I have feels amazing when you do
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, because it also requires then that you behave differently.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think about, especially relative to the beginning of the conversation about, just kind of sitting in the muck and, and not doing that anymore, that, some of the stuff that's happening around the world is terrible, 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 of course. But those are the things that I think sometimes we either dive into and, become part of the issue, as opposed to being part of the betterment of the world as a whole, if that makes any sense. So, because I do think, and you touched on this, I do think that this is an opportunity for us as a collective to create different options for, how we treat people, how we live, how we honor the planet, all those beautiful things. And I think this is the opportunity now. I think the world is opening up for us to show up, not in a, I'm gonna fight to the death for this, but
Right.
showing up as yourself, with the love and the compassion that you have for yourself and the world, and understanding that you can use your energy to be that.
Right.
So yeah, so I think I like how, when you touched on that piece, because it's not just about clearing in the moment. It's we live in a world that needs us. We need to we need to understand our own energy. We need to be able to see our own brightness. This is the time
Right.
that we need to do that.
When we create every now moment as a new now moment, we're creating everything, including the planet. So when we say we want to be fully supported, we want to be fully abundant, we want complete health, we want complete wealth, we want abundance, we want everything we need to feel safe, to feel all the things we want to feel. When we don't land in a planet that needs fixed. We land in a planet that doesn't need fixed. Now we have to hold that frequency though. And then when we go out, don't expect to see a planet that needs to be fixed, but also go out and don't do the things we did that caused the planet to need to be fixed.
Right.
And then when we get the expansive ideas about, oh, this is how we can have power, this is how we can do this, this is how we can do that, be open to them. I heard a physicist talk the other day. This was so brilliant. I loved it. He said, you know, we have to open our minds to the expansiveness that we are being given. We have acted on the world for so long and then been disappointed with what we got. We have acted on energy for so long and been disappointed with what we've got. You're gonna, yeah, why I didn't think of this, you're gonna be like, I can't believe you didn't say this because I've said so many out there things. But this was a physicist that said this. He said, we take rivers, we dam them up into small amounts of water coming out really fast. And then we can't begin to capture the amount of power that's coming out And then we say hydroelectric power is inefficient because we can't capture it. It's coming out so fast. He said, okay, does that make any sense to you whatsoever? When if we would have just left the water alone and understood that we are conscious energy being projected and that all the energy we need is in the air, it's in every now moment. And we didn't need to do anything to that water to have all the power we need. We just needed to understand we're energy and that we needed to be learning to work with what we are. He said, we do the same thing with nuclear power and then say it's inefficient. We do the same thing with wind power and say it's inefficient. When if we would just learn to work with what we are getting expansive ideas all the time about how to have all the energy we need without doing anything to a single resource we have. But then we wouldn't be acting on things, fixing it, doing something to it. And to us, that doesn't make sense because it's not how we look at things. It's not expansive thinking. We don't need to act on water to have energy from it when all the energy we need for everything, it's right here. And Tesla said, we don't need to put energy in power lines. But then we couldn't make any money off of it if we didn't put it in power lines, now could we?
Right.
There you go. So, um, but yeah, there's a physicist who's out there talking about this and saying, he's also saying, we could stand up in front of our peers and say the F word all we wanted for years now, but we couldn't say the C word, consciousness. Now we can say the C word
Oh,
because it,
consciousness. That's not what I thought you were going to
yeah,
say.
yeah. We can
Sorry.
say the C word. We can, yeah, there you go. We can say the C word. We can say consciousness all we want, but nobody knows what it means. So they're using it to replace God. They're using it to replace all sorts of things. But instead of defining it and using it to replace to understand what it means, to talk true energy mechanics. He said, I would rather they just went back to just using the F word and not using the C word if they're not going to talk about it in the true literal sense of what it is. I love listening to this man, and I don't know what his name is. I can't catch it because he's just on reels and nobody has what his name is. But
Oh,
he's what he's saying is the kind of stuff I've been saying for years now. I hadn't said the exact things he said, but I've been speaking the same kind of stuff he's been saying. I've been saying it for years. We act on energy when we don't need to act on anything. We need to be allowing it to be what it is and working with it. We don't have to act on anything because everything is created, projected out anyway. When we learn to project consciousness the way we're intended to, we won't be acting on energy. We will be imagining and reimagining power and homes and everything, travel, everything, because this moves from here to here instantly. That's how we will travel. It's what we call teleportation. There's no it's instantaneous when we understand how to take out the little film strip in between. When we understand that we cause it because we create the continuum of space and time, so we can slow things down and sequence and synchronize to have story. We do that as the tactile, so energy can be experienced through story. When we want to, all we have to do is speed it up to get to where we want to go and then slow it back down again to resume the story. This is the things we should be using our time for. These are the things we should be studying, if you will. These are the things we should be learning to do, not dismantle the
yeah.
planet and call that progress.
Yeah.
And so we should be reimagining. We should be expansive and be reimagining. And it's going to seem magical because it's going to seem like we're taking nothing and doing everything with it. But that's what we're doing anyway. When people understand that we are conscious energy being projected out, we are magical. That's what we're doing anyway. So my little problems this morning, they are so tiny. They really are. We are consciousness being projected every now moment. They're not problems at all. They're
Yeah.
they're they're how do I want to feel? I know how I want to feel. I know my frequency. I know how energy works. Energy works according to the frequency we set and put out. Do I want to loop back through what I've been through with all of that? No. Reset my pivot point, breathe, clear my energy. And as far as the world goes, once we've done that, put our light out, put it out in the space around us, put it out in the space outside of our space around us, and keep going until it's the whole planet, till it's the whole cosmos, and it comes back again. And just keep doing this because every now moment, that's what we're doing anyway. In the frequency of self-respect, which has to come back as mutual respect. And that's what universal love is. And as long as we stay in that bandwidth, we're golden. And that's what we're learning. And that's what we're just imagining. Is just imagine. We've been imagining all of this anyway. So why don't we wake up to the fact, since we're waking up, that we are imagining all of it? And why don't we start imagining every now moment as the most beautiful now moment possible? Every day, the best day ever, which is part of what I say every day.
Me too.
Yeah. Several times
Yeah.
a day, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is, and so it is, and so it shall be.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the piece that when I was referring to us taking it, that much further, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. You just become it. Yeah.
Right.
Beautiful. Nice porch talk. Nice porch
Yeah.
talk.
And just know that you can reset it every now moment. Every now moment. You can't miss it. You can't mess it up. You may have a 10-minute relapse with your friend and say, oh, I've got this going on. But then you catch yourself and you say, hold on. No, I don't. That was how it used to be. It's not that way because
Yeah.
I know better. I am better. I am this now
I am
moment and
better.
this
I
now
am
moment.
better. Yeah.
I am. I
I
am.
love
I
that.
am. I am. And then just take your breath, clear it, and keep going forward. So just imagine, and just keep imagining. And I am, I am, I am, I am that I am. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Gorgeous.
All right.
So
Well,
good.
well, thank you,
Nice.
Miss Diana. Anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so. I keep getting visions though of sitting on this porch with a nice cup of coffee and
Yeah.
and having outdoor conversations instead of over Zoom. We'll have to plan for that.
We have to plan for that. Yes. Yes, and not literally in the Milky Way, at least not yet, because we haven't imagined how to do that yet.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We
It's
will.
coming though. It's
It's
coming.
coming. It's
It's
totally
coming.
coming. Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. So, in the meantime, everyone, I'm always telling you all that every life is a story. It's true. You get to write yours way. As long as you're breathing, keep living, and write the capital letters. Use the breath to keep moving the energy. Know that we are reimagining everything every now moment. We are conscious energy being projected out in tactility to experience this life. Every now moment is a new now moment. Every day really can be the best day ever. Trust this, know that on the porch, it's not, we're not here to tell you how to be. We're just explaining how energy works so you can decide your own perspective and add it to your life and make your life the best life possible every now and moment. So see you next time.